open. Whatever our failings may be, we need not lower our eyes in the presence of Jesus. Unlike Quasimodo, the hunchback of Notre Dame, we need not hide all that is ugly and repulsive in us. Jesus comes not for the super-spiritual, but for the wobbly and the weak-kneed who know they don't have it all together and who are not too proud to accept the handout of amazing grace. As we glance up, we are astonished to find the eyes of Jesus open with wonder, deep with understanding, and gentle with compassion. Something is radically wrong when the local church rejects a person accepted by Jesus. When a harsh, judgmental, and unforgiving sentence is passed on homosexuals, when a divorcee is denied communion, when the child of a prostitute is refused baptism, when an unlaicized priest is forbidden the sacraments. Jesus comes to the ungodly, even on Sunday morning. His coming ends ungodliness and makes us worthy. Otherwise, we are establishing at the heart of Christianity an utterly ungodly and unworthy preoccupation with works. Jesus sat down at table with anyone who wanted to be present, including those who were banished from decent homes. In the sharing of a meal, they received consideration instead of the expected condemnation, a merciful acquittal instead of a hasty verdict of guilty, amazing grace instead of universal disgrace. Here is a very practical demonstration of the law of grace, a new chance in life. Any church that will not accept that it consists of sinful men and women and exists for them implicitly rejects the gospel of grace. As Hans Kung says, it deserves neither God's mercy nor men's trust. The church must constantly be aware that its faith is weak, its knowledge dim, its profession of faith halting, that there is not a single sin or failing which it has not in one way or another been guilty of. And though it is true that the church must always dissociate itself from sin, it can never have any excuse for keeping any sinners at a distance. If the church remains self-righteously aloof from failures, irreligious and immoral people, it cannot enter justified into God's kingdom. But if it is constantly aware of its guilt and sin, it can live in joyous awareness of forgiveness. The promise has been given to it that anyone who humbles himself will be exalted. The story goes that a public sinner was excommunicated and forbidden entry to the church. He took his woes to God. "They won't let me in, Lord, because I am a sinner." "What are you complaining about?" said God. "They won't let me in either." Often hobbling through our church doors on Sunday morning comes grace on crutches. Sinners still unable to throw away their false supports and stand upright in the freedom of the children of God. Yet their mere presence in the church on Sunday morning is a flickering candle representing a desire to maintain contact with God. To douse the flame is to plunge them into a world of spiritual darkness. There is a myth flourishing in the church today that has caused incalculable harm. Once converted, fully converted. In other words, once I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, an irreversible, sinless future beckons. Discipleship will be an untarnished success story. Life will be an unbroken upward spiral toward holiness. Tell that to poor Peter, who after 3 times professing his love for Jesus on the beach, and after receiving the fullness of the Spirit at Pentecost, was still jealous of Paul's apostolic success. Often I have been asked, "Brennan, how is it possible that you became an alcoholic after you got saved?" It is possible because I got battered and bruised by loneliness and failure. Because I got discouraged, uncertain, guilt-ridden, and took my eyes off Jesus. Because the Christ encounter did not transfigure me into an angel. because justification by grace through faith means I have been set in right relationship with God, not made the equivalent of a patient etherized on a table. We want ever-sharp spirituality. Push, pull, click, click, one saint that quick, and attempt to cultivate a particular virtue at a given point in time. Prudence in January, humility in February, fortitude in March, temperance in April. Scorecards are provided for toting up gains and losses. The losses should diminish if you expect to meet charity in May. Sometimes May never comes.